Sure did. But let's talk about. Can we talk about Brunson real quick? You gotta talk about Brunson real quick because sad day, sad but happy day. Yeah, let's talk about the captain. Captain. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the captain day. Captain Brunson. I call him Big Shot Brunson. I call him Big Shot Brunson. Kind of homage almost to Mr. Big Shot, Chauncey Billups. You know, always has the feel for the moment, hits the big shot when he needed. Brunson has been unbelievable this year. You know, he upped his 3-point percentage. He's shooting a better 3-point percentage than Steph Curry this season. He's almost up to 27 points per game. He's 12th in the entire NBA in scoring, and he's getting to the point where he just scores it. Like it's getting to the point where it just looks easy. And right now, I'm looking at he has to be the best posting point guard in NBA history. It has to be. And there's posting point guards out there. Cause I already know Mark Jackson's gonna come to mind. I already know people gonna say about Mark Jackson. I know people gonna say Anthony. I know people gonna say Anthony Hardaway. I know people gonna say that. But I know people might say Magic. But I was like, what point guard is posting people bigger than that? And dropping 27. Like I remember there's a lot of big point guards out there who will post and they'll post against smaller guys. What small guy is posting big guys out there in history? Right. Even Mark Jackson and those guys, they're not big, but they would like wait to post a point guard who was smaller than them. They wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? They were like, oh, I got a 5'11" point guard. I'm gonna post him and pass out the post. Like I remember Mark Jackson do it. I'm gonna post it up and I'm gonna wait for a cutter and then I'm gonna pass out the post. Yeah. They wasn't doing footwork and spin moves left and right and up and they might have been doing some up and unders, but Jalen Brunson's on another level.
Right.
Being Brunson was on another.
I agree with you. That's why when those comments came out and they keep coming out, I'm like, okay, it's nonsense. Especially about the Becky Hammond, because he's not your typical small guard. Like today, I watched him do this against somebody that they traded to do the dirty work, to be the defender of their team, you know, and Aaron and Gordon. I watched him play with pause, like he just duped them. Countless, he's seen them on him and put Gordon in the post in this game. Like, and it wasn't a second thought in his mind. Like,
Nope.
oh, this is what I got. And then he got him in the air and got an N1. So like this is what we come on. It's not a tip, and his IQ and his footwork is ridiculous. When you have that, you know he knows what to do. Before he starts his move, he knows how he's gonna approach you.
And this is why he needs to be in the All-Star game. And it kind of sucks that he wasn't voted in. I know like we didn't get enough fan votes to get him in here. But I think the media had him at number 2. I think the players had him at number 2 as well. The coaches most likely will get him in. But it sucks that he wasn't voted in to be a starter. But hopefully that changes, man. I think the media, the coverage around Jalen Brunson in general has to change.
Because it's doing damage, Jay. Like people say, what are y'all sensitive? We're sensitive. No, we're not sensitive. When you falsely tell people who not gonna, because people still haven't updated their takes on the Knicks. So they still talk about you trash, you trash, you trash, you trash. Then it's like, who watching the Knicks game when it's clearly somebody is, but whatever, they're not watching.
Yo, even Kenny Smith today, like, man, Kenny Smith's supposed to be in New York, bro. He's disappointing.
It's always like that.
He's disappointing the hell out of me. Charles Barkley, my dude from the South, bigging up Jalen Brunson, talking about he's one of the best free agent signings in history and da-da-da. And all he can talk about, what about Shaq? What about Devin Durant? Like, yo, let him speak, man. Like Kenny, you gotta ship your New York card out of here, bro.
Facts, turn cold.
Turn cold. He's Uncle Ruckus in New York right now. I'm sorry.
For real, yo.
Yeah, but that's what that does. It does damage to people that's voting. Because if you're not looking at him in this all-star light, you got people questioning him and lying on what he's done prior. Who's voting for them? You get what I'm saying? When we looking on we looking on NBA TV, we looking on the national media for them to speak about these good games that they've been having and they highlight in the other team and barely talk about us, that all hurts our player when it comes to going to the All-Star game. And at the end, that hurts us because if we can't get All-Star, people to the game, then it doesn't look good. You can't both. So we got All-Stars. We got All-Stars. You can't say that. They say, look, you see what they say with Brunson now. He didn't make an All-Star. He's not an All-Star. He didn't make the game, even though he
it's
should.
like the coverage has to change, man, or just have more coverage. I feel like the coverage has picked up over the last month, single-handedly because of Perk. Like, I feel like Perk has been carrying the coverage on his back, but Stephen A. Smith is supposed to be a Knicks fan. He's hardly said anything until like the last week. Like, that's supposed to be the coverage right there. I still remember when Jalen Brunson dropped 50 on the Phoenix Suns and nothing. There was no coverage on it whatsoever. Usually you drop 50 points, it gets circulated around. There's think pieces about it. There's players arrived. There was nothing on the internet, nothing clipped up. Like, it was like nobody cared. So I don't know what has to happen. I mean, I guess that's why we have made our own spaces to big our own players up. But man, like, the coverage around our Knicks has to change, and hopefully the playoffs is going to be a big deal for us, because if we do what we're supposed to do in the playoffs, then that coverage is going to change organically.
Yeah, most definitely.
I know what needs to happen.
What needs to happen?
You need to abolish the fan vote in the All-Star game. Get rid of that shit, because the American voting public is idiotic. Think about who they elect to office. Eric Adams, Gavin Newsom, Greg Abbott, Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump, Joe Biden. Like, they elect nonstop bums on both sides. So who's shocked that they also don't vote for the right guy who deserves it to start an All-Star game? It made sense to me. Dame is a more popular one.
Yeah.
More people across America know Dame. They don't know what Dame has done this season, or of a drop-off defensively, or of a drop-off efficiently. They know Dame in terms of how they've indexed him for the last 10 years as a flashy point guard. But is he better than Jalen Brunson this year? Hell no. Well, they vote for, like you said, who's in the conversation. And Dame gets the highlights. He gets the commercial spots. He gets the primetime conversation segment. Jalen Brunson doesn't. And if he does, Brunson's typically getting crapped on by somebody. They're not giving him the props that he deserves. It starts a conversation around Jalen Brunson being overrated, or not really a 1A, or not deserving. So no surprise that ESPN pollutes the minds the same way the CNN and Fox News does. It's no shock to me.
Yeah. No, you're right. I definitely agree. But that's, even more than Dame, like, Brunson was 6th in voting. So even Trae Young got more votes. And like, their team is not even like in playoff.
Trae Young been ass. He's been cheats this year.
Yeah,
Trae Young.
Shooting 3% from three, and like, come on, son.
Straight cheats.
I know bruh. Like, the NBA fan vote is never gonna go away, because the NBA is tailored for fans. So to take the fan vote away, it's just not gonna happen. From a business standpoint, it won't be smart from the NBA. But
yeah,
they have to find a way to promote him. I would never thought I would see the day where I felt like, wow, New York needs to be promoted.
yeah. It's the reason why, Knicks players don't get much love when it comes to All-Star voting is because there's still a negative narrative around the Knicks. Like, like what was already mentioned, Becky Hammond, when she came out and said Brunson's not really a 1A player, so automatically when other fans who don't really get a chance to watch the Knicks hear that, all of a sudden they're thinking, am I going to vote for Brunson as an All-Star player over Tyrese Halliburton or over Dame Lillard or Trae Young? Nah, because he's not really a 1A player, so why am I going to vote him into the All-Star game? It's like the other night with Candace Parker when she was on TNT talking about how Brunson in the first round against the Cavaliers, he played well, but then in the second round, not so much. So again, it's like there's still this negative, in the media, there's still this negative coverage of the Knicks, despite the fact the Knicks are actually good. And that's what hurts Knicks players from getting the votes to get into all-star games and things of that nature. And they have to depend on the coaches to actually vote them into the games and stuff. And I think the only way that narrative is going to change is if the Knicks actually win a damn championship. Because when the Knicks win a damn championship, they're going to have no choice but to say good things about the Knicks. Because, like, what you going to say now? Knicks won a championship.
Yeah. At least a finals run. Like, the fact that Candace was allowed to say that Brunson didn't have a good second round is still crazy to me.
Yeah, I got a bro pick tonight too.